All right, welcome to today's workout. Today's workout, we're going to be focusing on the joint therapy and range of motion. So we're going to have 3 rounds. Each round is going to consist of 2 exercises, 3 exercises, and then 2. So we're going to do 7 total exercises today instead of 8. And we're going to focus on our shoulders and our hip mobility and stability, all right? So we'll do round 1 with flat band shoulder absorption and shoulder internal external rotation. So we'll use flat band and a tube band for those. And then we'll move to round 2 and we'll do tricep extensions with a loop band, clock lunges, which we're familiar with, and anchored overhead shoulder extension facing forward. And then for round 3, we're going to do the anchored overhead shoulder extension facing away. So we're going to be doing a very similar exercise, but just different directions. And then we'll finish off with kneeling anchored back extension. All right, and that's a new one. So I'm going to demonstrate, and then I'll come back in later on mic'd up with commentary. And for now, we want to get our gear ready for the flat band shoulder absorption and the shoulder internal external rotation. Now, what we'll want to do before we get into round 1 is do a little neuromuscular activation with the rotator cuffs. Nice and easy. We'll do like 2 rotations. We just want to change up the angle of the shoulder while rotating the rotator cuffs inside and out. All right, and then we will overlap. Do the full range of motion, and then I'll want to stop my momentum. And I'll turn inside and out. I'll do internal external rotations. I'll stop the momentum before the hands touch each other. All right, nice and easy. As if you're holding a medicine ball, arms extended. There's a nice breeze blowing today. This exercise takes place up on a hill, Millennial Park. So the wind kind of slopes down out of the hills. So we warmed up the upper extremities, specifically the shoulder, and now we want to focus on the hamstrings. Range of motion in the hip. All right, give one nice stretch. We're going to stretch in between 20 and 30 seconds per leg, all right? I'm a little less mobile with my right leg. All right, we can change it up. We can make sure we keep our back straight when we do this. We're gonna reach up with both hands like that. That's a good way to do this stretch. And then at the end, I'll give it a nice deep stretch. Breathe in, breathe out. Deep breaths with each of these exercises. We've got a history and a background in these things, so we always want to be familiar with the breath. Right, and then we're going to try to use our hip flexor muscles to stretch that hamstring on its own. All right, I like to go up as far as it'll go, and then I can go ahead and guide it to get an extra stretch. All right, and then we switch legs. In the meantime, as I just showed, we want to point the abdominals down to the ground. So the lower back, you know, we've had this conversation If we're able to do this, that's fine. If not, there are alternatives as well. I like to stretch the abdominals, so I'll lay face down, relax the back muscles, relax everything, bring my arms as far as they'll go to that point, and then I'll eventually come up after I fall asleep for a bit. Hey, you're in control of when you come up. You do what's good for you. Take a few deep breaths. Right, and a nice and easy stretch of the abdominals. And you're breathing in, breathing out. All right, I like to stretch the rhomboids. A lot of times I'll roll straight into what I think is the dog pose. I don't believe I do it here, but you can go straight into that pose from here. All right, and then we want to stretch the piriformis. We can do this sitting up. We can do this laying down as I'm showing here. I'm going to breathe in deeply, breathe out deeply. And we're going to stretch for in between 20 and 30 seconds. All right, as we switch, I bring the right leg over the left knee. We're stretching that right glute muscle, hamstring, and the piriformis. Breathing in, breathing out. Right, and then we're up and at 'em, ready for round number 1. And again, we've got our gear set up. We're going to have our tube bands and the flat band. All right, so there's our resistance tube band. We've got the handles on both sides attached. Then we've got our flat band. All right, so this is a transverse and frontal plane pull, just like that. You're pulling straight to the rear, retracting the scapula or the shoulder blades. All right, and you're just going to easily grip the flat band to about just beyond shoulder width, just to where there's a little bit of tension. Eventually, this is the end point. We're going to go back to the start. Eventually, what we're going to do is catch the momentum going back forward and then propelling ourselves back into that pull position. And I like to think of momentum. So like you're building a lot of tension on the band, and as you let the band guide, like as you let it guide your hands back towards the starting position, you're gaining momentum. And what you want to do is stop that momentum with your muscles, as opposed to allowing the resistance leave the band entirely, or the tension. So as we go back here, start, we don't let it finish all the way. We bring it back and then move. And then we can do it overhead as well. So what I'm going to do is create tension like that, rotate, and then alleviate the tension. Create, move, alleviate. See that? Or reduce. That's a better word, I think. And it takes some coordination. But notice as we reduce, we're also stopping our momentum. See, we're going to stop the momentum and come back. Stop the momentum. I love doing these things because we do these in everyday life. Especially when your body's not prepared for something. And let's say you throw something heavy, or somebody gives you something heavy. All of a sudden, weight's transferred to those muscles that had zero weight before. So I like to reduce that momentum by engaging the muscles. That's kind of my mindset when I do the shoulders, all right? And then we're moving straight from the shoulder workout. That should have been fatiguing, okay? That first exercise should have been, and it's supposed to be. These are going to be difficult. The first two exercises will be difficult, and that's why I paired them together, and we're only doing 2 instead of 3 for round number 1, all right? So we anchored the tube band about chest height. We just did external rotations of the left arm, and we switch to the right arm. We'll do internal rotation, and we're going to make sure that we maintain the same distance, the same resistance. All right, so we just internally rotate, and we're breathing out, breathing out, breathing out during the concentric contraction. All right. Then I'll switch it up. I'll keep it in the same hand, but now we're externally rotating. So we'll feel some fatigue. We do have 3 sets. We want to try to do all the reps. If we're not able to, we're not able to. We can either do one of 2 things. We can reduce the amount of resistance. We can change the distance. We can do a lot of different things. But essentially what happens is when you get fatigued, those are your fast twitch muscles that get tired very quickly. They're responsible for high power, but they are inefficient. So they last for a short period of time. And we want to continue doing the reps to finish, increasing our muscular endurance. And that's very beneficial for our metabolic health. Right, then we're going to finish off. Remember, we started with the left arm external rotation. Now we're internally rotating. All right, so now here's what we're going to do. This is the moment where we don't have footage for each exercise, but you're going to continue. And you're going to repeat the first 2 exercises. They're very easy. We're going to repeat the flat band shoulder absorption and the shoulder internal external rotation. And we'll do each of those 2 more sets. So you'll have a few minutes here to go ahead and finish both of those sets and get ready for round 2 after that. All right, so hopefully we've finished each of the remaining sets, and we're getting up for round number 2. We've got our tricep extension with the loop band. We also have clock lunges with body weight and anchored overhead shoulder extension. All right, so we're going to get our resistance band anchored first. That's what I want to do. So we'll anchor that just above the knee, and then we get our loop band ready, and we're set to kick off round number 2, which is the tricep extension. So we can anchor the band to our waist, behind our back. All right. This is one angle of the shoulder that you can do the tricep extension. I find overhead the most difficult and the most taxing. If we're able to have this range of motion in our shoulders, I highly recommend it. But I also recommend changing it up and doing different angles. I like to do that with biceps as well. So if I do bicep curls, sometimes I like to anchor the band next to me and do kind of like a shoulder abducted curl. In any case, all we're doing is we're hooking the loop band into our thumbs, anchoring the band behind the back where the small of the back is, and we're just extending the elbow. This is working the tricep, and we're going to do 20 of these, and they will fatigue you. Your tricep, your elbow extension is very important for push-ups. We want to be able to do push-ups. People do not like them. They're hard, but they can get really easy. So if we're doing these, if we do other exercises like a one-arm chest press, which maybe I'll incorporate in the next workout, that would be really fun. We're adding the tricep extension, the elbow extension, to a shoulder abduction or adduction. All right. So when we work these different muscle groups out, they all, assist in a dynamic movement. All right, and then we move into the clock lunges. These have become very popular. I like these. I like the direction. I like the balance that it promotes. I like staying squared up on those diagonal movements. Those side lunges, we want to make sure we're not flaring our knees out. All right. We don't have to go as deep. All right, just nice and easy. Get into a nice groove. You can go at your own speed. You can go more quickly. You can go slower. And then we'll go reverse for the last rotation. All right, and moving forward, this will be our facing forward shoulder extension. All right, so in the next in the next round, we're actually going to be facing the other way. All right, this just changes the direction that the resistance band is pulling. I feel like this gives us an opportunity to work a lot of smaller muscles that have different vector directions. All right, that's kind of it's kind of like a kinesiological term for like vector forces of physics. I like to use those things. So if it gives us a little bit of an advantage in working all of those muscles, all of those directional pulls, then that's what we'll do. But we're going to start here facing forward. The band will be anchored to the top of a door. It could be anchored to the top of a fence. We just want to make sure that it's above our head and we have good resistance. And we're going to do 20 of these, 3 sets of 20. Now, in doing so, we want to make sure that we engage the hips so that we keep them straight, all right? And then we just repeat those 3 exercises for round number 2. We'll have a few minutes to go ahead and do that, so I'll let you get to it, and we'll meet back to start round 3. Right, and then finally, coming back to round 3, we have 2 remaining exercises. Exercise 6 is the anchored overhead shoulder extension facing away this time. So I'm going to go ahead and anchor it back. And this time we're facing away. So this is going to work more on our range of motion above the head. All right, we're going to bring in the latissimus dorsi. We're going to bring in the chest, the pec muscles, the front deltoid muscles. And then I just want that resistance band pulling my arms up while I keep my hips straight. All right. We want the back to be straight. We want our upper body from our knees up to be perpendicular to the ground. We want about a 90-degree angle there. And we're just going to breathe. All right, breathing back in, reset. We're going to be working those obliques, the abdominal erector muscles. All right, breathe out, and breathe back in and reset. And breathe out. Breathe in and reset. Let those lungs fill all the way up. You're going to elevate the shoulders with breathing in. All right, we're going to create that gradient. You're breathing in and allowing the resistance band to carry your arms up. We want to improve that range of motion. All right, now this is a new one. So what we're going to do is anchor the band below our knees. And we want a really strict, we want a tight tension to begin with from the down position. This will be the beginning position, and we're just going to extend the dorsal area. We're going to extend the bottom, all right, the back side, the gluteus maximus, and we're gonna clench those cheeks into position. All right, nice and easy. It's about a 3/4 movement, and we're breathing. All right, we're breathing back in, then breathing out. Now this is just an alternative to lying face down and doing like a dorsal extension. All I'm trying to do here is liven the neuromuscular connections on your back side, all right, and extend the hip, the back side. We want to extend the hips, and we are working those glutes. And it's as simple as that. We're breathing out. All right. And that's it for set number 1. So we're just going to reset our gear and then do each set the remaining 2 times. All right. So I'll leave you to it. We'll leave you with a little bit of music and get to it, finish up, and great job.
don't know.